You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
So Zach Phillips fired Craig Berube last night. Hello, welcome into the Wednesday edition of Leafs Morning Take presented by Bet365. Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill. Following yet another abysmal loss for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It really is Groundhog Day, but how are we feeling on this Wednesday, this hump day, Rosie?
I actually woke up like sick as a dog in the head, which is fitting because I went to bed sick to my stomach. So things are matching up here today. Yeah, that was ugly, dude. And I was thinking about last night when we're like, no, well, people are saying this is a must win. It's not a must win. And then seeing the reaction to that game, I was like, holy shit, maybe it was, boys.
Social media is a fun place at the best of times, specifically last night, specifically this morning. I don't know if you caught this. The Maple Leafs and WWE agreeing on a strategic partnership, which I think is only fitting for a team that's quit on their coach, not really fighting whatsoever. And I think the only similarities I would draw between WWE and the Maple Leafs, they both have ridiculous ticket prices. You can't go to either. You can't go to a Leafs game. You can't go to a WWE event anymore. It's like $4 billion just to get in the building. So there's that.
I never saw this. More business stuff behind the scenes that has nothing to do with hockey. I'm trying to think of this show, man. Like, it's not long enough to go over what's going on. Like, there's nothing, there's not a redeeming quality about this team. Like the forwards, top six, bottom six, the D, the goaltenders, the special teams, the effort level, the intensity, the passion, the give a shit meter, the response, the leadership. It's in fucking shambles. All of it. It's quite shocking, to be honest with you. I believe this team is a lot better than what we've just watched the last three games. But what is going on? Like, that was bad.
Another word I would use is appalling, because we had talked about, more than 24 hours about a response, need a response, called it maybe a must win, which is so cliche, but certainly people, what they were getting at was a response from the weekend. And that's the way they come out in the first period. They take three minor penalties, in the first 8 minutes of the game. Down 1-0 in the first 5 minutes, couldn't get a save. Struggled night for Stoli yet again. And next thing you know, it's 3-1 Boston after one. And then just for good measure, on top of that, they come out in the second period. Hildeby's now the goalie. They surrender a breakaway 30 seconds in or whatever it was. And the game was over. I haven't seen that before in recent memory in the NHL. It was mop-up duty 10 minutes into that game. Like, in the NBA when the third stringers come on because the game's over. We got that in the first 10 minutes of that game last night.
Yeah, they didn't have. I know they came up and made it 4-3 or whatever. That is so irrelevant to me. That was just okay. OEL throws a seeing eye shot. Like, who gives a shit? They had nothing in that game. They had no business being on the ice there, and it's just inexplicable to me. And people are calling for, this massive seismic change in tanking and calling her quits and blowing it up and fire this guy and fire everybody. To me, it's like you've got a coach that wants them to play the complete opposite of what they've just played, of what they've just showed us. And you've got a GM who's tried to design and build the team to play the complete opposite of what we're watching. Like, they're getting pushed around, they're getting hammered, they're getting disrespected, slapped around. They have no bite, no pushback, no desire, intensity to change anything. Any response they do have feels completely fake. And like, you think firing the coach is going to change that? Like, you have these guys up above that have made this to play a certain way, and they've gone backwards. They've gone the opposite way. So who are you going to bring in for Craig Berube that's going to, like, what a players coach and an offensively minded players coach? We've seen that movie before. It's inexplicable how they're playing like this, the way they're constructed and the way they're coached.
I agree. To me, realistically, the only way you change matters is by changing the core at this point, and it doesn't start with Mitch Marner leaving. It goes far and above that, because what's the same constant we've seen in the last decade in this market, and we've seen this rodeo so many different times. But I think watching this team specifically, and you can speak better to this, it really feels like the Craig Berube's message is not getting through anymore, right? Like, I think more times than not, you lose maybe a couple games, you get a response. But the fact that it's now 3 games in a row, and it's been a theme throughout the early season, now at the 17 game mark, we're almost at the 1/4 mark of this season, and there doesn't seem to be a response. I just wonder if he's lost the room. It happens a lot in this league.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I just don't get why. Like, why would you lose the room? Like, the guys you mentioned who have been here before, like the heartbreak they've had at the end of their season and thinking they're close or being close and then just butchering it. Obviously, some changes need to be made. So here comes a guy who took a team that was dead last in the NHL in January and had them win the Stanley Cup. So why, like, what do you have to lose to buying into his message? You play the big playoff teams, those big dogs of Boston and Tampa and Florida, and get you can't beat them. So why not buy into this guy's message? Like, doing it on your own and not listening to him has been brutal. So like, what's like, why? They're all veteran guys. It's not like they're a bunch of like punk Russian 20-year-olds that are just like, fuck you to everything that's said. Like, I've seen that type of thing, but these guys are like, this is like John Tavares, and these are guys that have been around the block. It's inexplicable how they're choosing to play this. And Berube at the end of the game, he's like, well, I like the fight back. I like the pushback. I like the response. The response to what? Your dog shit thing that you're responding to was supposed to be your response from the game before that was dog shit, that was supposed to have a response from the game before that was dog shit. The response. They fucking had a seeing eye shot float in from the point and whatever else. No, that was a response to your dog shit response. Give me a break. Like, I get he's trying to save face and you know, keep it whatever, but no, man. Like, the lack of response is what is shocking. How can a bunch of guys cut from that cloth with that experience show up like that night after night, just completely disinterested? Losing the room, maybe, but why would he lose the room is my question.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different factors. You can look back to the whole Stolarz thing a couple weeks back on October 18th. The numbers speak for themselves. It doesn't really make much sense. Like, it was alarming for me to hear the other night John Tavares talk about immaturity, but then you look at this roster, they're a veteran roster. Like, these guys have been around before. Very seldom do you see this. They bring back the same blue line. They have been dreadful, even with Chris Tanev in the lineup. It's been Walk City with that blue line. There's no cohesion, no chemistry. It's just like a tire fire. And it's, for me at least, it was unexpected. I expected a bit of turbulence, but I didn't expect to this extent, where they've now surrendered 5+ goals 7 times in 17 outings. Like, they can't get a save. They can't make a play. And I honestly thought we'd be sitting here mid-November talking about the offense, how they can't score as much as they did in the past. That hasn't been the story at all. They can't keep the puck out of the net. And they keep getting embarrassed shift after shift, game after game. But you hit the nail on the head. Like, a response to what? Like, the initial response was supposed to come in the first period after the 2 games over the weekend. They brought nothing. Then Stolarz leaves. They come out in the second very, very flat. That tells me the message not getting through, unfortunately.
Yeah, and another thing that's like unreasonable and like doesn't make sense is, like you said, last year they were like shut down D. Like, yeah, their goaltenders played great, but their D were shut down. Every guy on the lineup was the polar opposite of what they are today. And yeah, maybe they couldn't quite score enough goals sometimes, and people were on Craig Berube a little bit, saying he's stifling their offense, stifling their creativity. Well, what do you say now? Because Craig Berube is just trying to preach, you know, doing things the right way and having a commitment to playing on the D side of the puck and making the high percentage plays. And and it's based around like work. Like you don't have anything, you get it deep and you burn your legs up getting the fucking thing back and bang into that D-man and forcing him just to rim it while the other guy's busting down the far side, and boom, we got it now. And they're scrambling and hitting and looking around and where's my partner? And now you're working in the ozone. That's like the formula. It's pretty simple. It's not like some crazy system that he fucking invented at some point in time. It's just based around doing the right things where it doesn't end up in the back of your net. There's not a lot of odd man rushes. You're able to, keep the puck out of your end and advance it from the neutral zone to the O zone and then go to work. And then once you do that work, your skill takes over and you have some superstars that will be the difference makers. Cool. Like, what are they doing? That's Craig Berube's formula, and everyone wants to fire them to bring in who to tell them what. They aren't even fucking, it looks like they're not, it looks like they don't care. And I cannot stress enough how I'm the last guy who would say that, because I know how much guys at that level do care. But like, how is this how you show it? Like, are you having fun? Are you having fun going to work every day? It's going to get worse, and it is getting worse. And that's what blows my mind is I expected the growing pains too. I expected a bumpy ride and to get used to a few things and then like start to like show how things are falling into place. Going backwards, just dive bombing, not a redeeming quality about that game or this team at this point in time.
Such a fragile bunch are the Toronto Maple Leafs right now as they get set to host the Los Angeles Kings on Thursday night. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. We got plenty of Super Chats to get to. We'll start with John Gallagher, who writes in, sign the goon, great 90s heel. I like that. Shane Brom writes in, Benoit should wear a leash the way he gets walked. It's been tough for the entire decor. I can't pick one guy. They've all been dreadful across the board, up front. I was talking about this last night. Like, if you're Craig Berube and you want to pull the old Jim Montgomery when he scratched Jordan Kyrou last week, can you really pick one guy on this roster? I think everybody deserves play, man.
I know. Who do you point to?
Who do you pick? Who would
That's
you
what's
pick?
Scary. Oh, I can't pick a guy. Pick a guy in the back end. Pick a guy up front. Like, I don't know, like, isn't Nick Waugh supposed to be like effective at his job? I don't even, he's like 6'6" and I don't see him doing fuck all. I don't see anyone doing anything. Like, and even Domi, like, I love the way you went at, but like, he's just doing it because he's like desperately thinking like, my dad did that, so I'm gonna, show that I'm willing or whatever. Cool. But like, with 10 minutes left in the third or whatever, when you're maybe going to come back and like salvage this piece of shit, like, why didn't you do that the next shift after he hit Matthews? I don't know. Again, I love that he did it. It's better than nothing, but just, I don't know, dude. Like, and you start to think back to last year and I'm like, in the back of my mind, and I didn't really want to say it, but it's like, man, that goaltending is bailing out some sometimes shitty play and kind of, putting some makeup on that and covering that up a little bit. And now that you don't have it, it's falling apart at the seams. And you know what? On the other hand, teams have played worse than this and crawled out of it. And it's been kind of a footnote on the season. So like, it's not like they can't pull their heads out of their asses, but it's just so shocking that they seem unwilling to do so.
I thought it was interesting, too, those 2 saves early on by Stolarz. You're like, wow, this guy's going to be on tonight. And they score like seconds later. You're like, maybe not. Dr. Greg O'Neill, thank you so much for the Super Chat. It's tough to admit it, but it's possible the window has closed and we should all take a breath. Good thing we have our first-round picks. Oh, wait. Well, that's the other story, too. It's not really like they can be like, okay, let's throw in the towel on this season. It's top 5 protected, but Boston's got the first-rounder in the Fraser Minton Brandon Carlo deal. So yeah, that's a bit of a headache too. Maxentius Decimus, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Dumbest penalty of the year goes to Domi, as Rosie just talked about. And Jose Duarte, really appreciate this. We don't normally mention the amount, but $50, we really, really appreciate that. Since Marner and Pontus left, this team has looked trouble. They need a couple trades. Easier said than done again. I don't think the answer is right there for Brad Treliving to snap his fingers and say, hey, here's your answer. I think these guys have to fight their way out of it, Rosie.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those situations where, whoever comes in, the GM comes to talk or the coach does and goes, you guys, There's no one coming to save you. Nobody's going to come into this room and fix all these problems. It's on you guys. Like, do you want to keep doing this or do you want to sort it out? And whatever you're doing right now is not the answer, and it is not working, and you better come together and figure some shit out, or it is going to be one miserable time in all of your lives. And what a waste to be playing on the Toronto Maple Leafs and be in the National Hockey League, and you're living this misery. Wake the fuck up then. Like, do something out of the ordinary. You guys are they all seem just like kind of coasting on autopilot, kind of giving her that 73% effort. It's kind of maybe there if you look really hard, a flash of it here and a flash of it there. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you guys are miserable. What a miserable time to be playing this shitty, and you don't have anything to say about it. Like, I would be going through a wall trying to rectify whatever that is. All it would take was every one of them just being like, guys, fuck this. Let's go. We're like, empty the tank tonight. There is not a loose puck. There is not a wall battle. There is not a 50-50 opportunity that we are not just burning the legs out, making it happen. If anyone gets in your way, you fucking blow them up. And if anyone has something to say about it, all five just come and fucking pile on top. It's an FU attitude, and that's all we got. That's all we got to try here. And they would just climb out of it, and it would be at least inspiring to watch, and you could get behind them. For whatever reason, to a man, none of them want to even go there. And it's just like, all right, your funeral, boys. I can't understand it.
That's very well put. We got Thomas Kaberle, Leafs legend, coming on here in about 15 minutes. We'll get his thoughts on the current team. Also, Morgan Riley last night, a huge footnote, but passing Kaberle for 6th all-time in assists and 2nd among D in Leafs history. Quite frankly, nobody really cares about that today, but we'll ask Cabby about that. The current state of the Toronto Maple Leafs coming up in about 15. At the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Every time the Leafs play at home, you can get these exclusive deals only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, Bogo Brisket Hat-Trick, Kibo Sushi, Bogo California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, Bogo Traditional Wrap. That's right. Buy one, get one. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Just so many numbers where you're like, where's the accountability? Where are Craig Berube's Toronto Maple Leafs? Like, they've surrendered 3 or more goals in 11 of their past 12 games. 15 of the 17 games have hit the over. The Leafs have allowed 5+ goals 7 times in 17 games. But for me, like, the biggest surprise of this season is the crease. Specifically, Anthony Stolarz. Specifically, the way he started in training camp. He was phenomenal. First few games, he was awesome. But you look back, Rosie, October 18th, man, the numbers speak for themselves at this point. 4.40, 4.05, 874 since he called that team out. The second straight game. I know they didn't really mention it. I guess it wasn't performance-based, but doesn't come back, doesn't back up, isn't on the bench. They're calling it a upper body injury for Anthony Stolarz, a minor look, apparently it sounds like. Doesn't come back. He just can't make a stop right now. Like, that squeaker, the third goal, was like, where did that come from?
Yeah, it was. You watch from all different angles. I don't think there's a more routine save that you could face than that one right there, and just still goes through him. Obviously, he's struggling. He's not getting any help. The reason he made those comments was because he was pissed off at what he's dealing with night to night, and I agreed with him. And it is weird that you can pinpoint that day to when he started, playing poorly. You can connect those dots, which is not hilarious, but pretty leafy. He needs to be better. I'd like to see Joseph Woll be part of this team again. I think everybody would. I think it's about time. I figured it was about time he'd be in. He's back with the team. I think he's skating, working on his shit. Like, every day you're doing reps and, working out and getting your skates in and working with the goal. Like, are you not ready to rock? Let's go. Like, we need you like crazy. And I don't think it doesn't help that we haven't had a complete team. Like, what do we have now to look forward to? Like, is Stoli hurt? Is Matthews hurt? Is Woll hurt? Is Lawton hurt? Is Tanev hurt? Like, sweet boys. We're looking at a bright future here. And again, no one's going to come in there to save them. A big trade. Let's trade Matthews and see what we can get. Okay, even try with his no move clause, and like good luck. We can't even trade Nick Robertson. Like, it's not happening. No one's coming in here to save you. I would be shocked if they made any seismic changes, like firing some prominent people or trading some prominent players. It's just got to come from within. And yeah, I mean, the goaltending needs to be better, yes, but the D have to play better in front of him, and the forwards have to. It's just, there's nothing about this team that you could say you got to be more like that. There's nothing about it that has a redeeming quality of it. It's a complete and utter tire fire right now. But again, as fast as you fall into that shit, you can pull out of it. It's just going to be interesting to see how willing they are to do that.
I think our friend Tammy in the chat makes a fair point on Stolarz. There's a lot of narrative around that October 18th game. Prior to that, he wasn't great. The first couple starts of the season, 2 goals against Montreal, then 4-3, 1 against the Rangers. He was awesome. Then 4 against Seattle, and then that it was a Seattle game after that one that he called out the team. So that's a point well taken, Tammy, on that front. But I think you're right. You know, I started to wonder too if that was more of like he's hurt, or is it's like a mercy type pull where it's like we got no faith in this guy. He's got to figure things out. And the other thing I thought about, I believe Joseph Woll will play his first full game tonight for AHL Toronto Marlies. How quickly is he going to bird back to Toronto after that game, Rosie?
Good question. Depends how he feels and depends how he looks, I guess. Depends what he says. Again, we don't know what was wrong with him necessarily to leave the team. So there'll be some internal conversations out there. Unless they have it in stone, like you're going down there, you're going to play 3 games or you're going to play 2 games. And just that's just the matter of fact of it. I don't know what the sitch is, but hope he looks good. Hope he feels good. Certainly need him. Sometimes when you're in this shitstorm like this, just injecting some new blood in any way, shape, or form can jar something loose. But again, to me, it's just, I just chuckle because it's like you watch Zach's show last night and you watch the podcast and just the reaction to that game. How many people care so much about this, like passionately just disgusted in what they see and just racking their brains on what you can do to help and to change this. And then the guys whose blades are touching the ice just certainly don't seem as concerned about it, and it's just like, holy fuck, all the weight of this market is thrown at you and you respond that way over and like, are you ever going to learn your lesson? Do you not learn your lesson from the first Boston game to the Carolina to that performance in the first? Like, really, like, show me something. I'll get behind anything if you give me something. There's nothing to get behind with their performances and the way they come out. So I guess I'll just sit here patiently and say, fucking show me something. I'm not on the goddamn team. Why do I care so much? Fucking show me something. But man, like that first period, that was supposed to be your response. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, not to include the Blue Jays in the conversation again, but they're a prime illustration, a perfect example. You lose and you can still get credit. I know they lost in Game 7 of the World Series, but what's the narrative around that team? People aren't really shitting on them. It's like, man, what a team. They played like a team. They were awesome. You never really walk away from a Leafs loss that way, whether it's Game 17 or Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're like, well, there could have been a bit more, or this happened. I think that's the frustration in this market, this fan base, when you see efforts like that where they look genuinely disinterested in playing hockey, the sport they're paid lots of money to play. That's the concerning part, where there's no response to the head coach the way we saw the last 3 efforts. And that's been a theme throughout this season, because the grand point of today's podcast is Craig Berube, I mean, can only do so much behind the bench. I mean, he can only convey a message, and it's the player's job to follow suit with that message. When they're not executing, then they're buried. But William White, thank you so much for the super chat. Funny how everyone wants to blame Chief, but hasn't anyone noticed like they're playing the last year's Red Wings? Derek Lalonde. The grammar off on that one, but we all got the point. I'm not blaming Derek Lalonde either, okay? This is on the players, man. It's just like everybody's so quick in this market to point fingers and blame someone. And the assistant coach, yes, it's Derek Lalonde's fault this team is shit. He's on the ice out there, and it's his system. In more times I would buy that, and I think there's a lot of examples of that in this NHL world, Rosie. But again, you're watching the game, and it's easy for me to pick up as somebody who's a career beer league player, minor, the worst ranking house league you can play, and I can pinpoint the mistakes. Then this team's not legit. Okay, I don't think it's a coaching flaw. I think they're making like the mistakes that a 7-year-old would make in Timbit hockey.
Yeah, it's just like, what do you think Craig Berube is telling the group?
I know
that's making them play like this.
Yeah.
Like, do you not hear his message? It's the polar opposite of what they're freaking doing. Like, do you think he's telling them to just be completely disconnected as D pairings and not keep your head on a swivel and, be lackadaisical about your gaps and pinch up when your partner's already vulnerable and not pay attention to the guy's line change who's getting behind you? Like, do you think he's telling you all this shit? Do you think his message is what's causing this play? Like, that's what's so shocking is the whole point of Craig Berube being here and getting Tree Living to build this roster to the best of his ability with who's available is to play the opposite style of hockey of what we just watched. And kind of funny. Again, bring in who to say what that is going to be so different. It's just, to me, these guys, and yeah, I mean, there's going to be people talk about culture, and like, these guys aren't cut from the cloth of a Nathan McKinnon. These big boys here with the big contracts that are supposed to, take us to the promised land. Think back to that Hockey News cover where it's got the 3 big dogs on it right when they drafted, and it goes, it's not a matter of if they win a cup, it's how many. And you're just like, you look back at that now after 9-10 years, you're like, holy fuck, man. Like, and then, to see the way this team's built and then to come out that way, like, how could you put that on Craig Berube? What do you think he's saying that's making them play that way? It's not the answer, if you ask me. And lots of question marks, to tell you that.
The other major question I have on today's show: where the fuck did Auston Matthews go last night? Like, I can't believe it's been 30 minutes. We haven't even talked about the captain getting hurt, going down, and not coming back to that hockey game. Like, that is a really, really concerning, maybe underlying story of last night's game, is the fact they lost the game. There was no response. Stolarz got hurt, but Auston Matthews hurt again, ...
Yeah, I think that just shows you how bad they played and how little there is, how many question marks there are, like whether it's the special teams or the forwards or the D or the goaltenders. It's just like there's so much to talk about that you don't even get to the Auston Matthews conversation. And I'm getting kind of resigned to the fact that he's just going to be hurt quite a bit, and we're not going to know why, and we're not going to know when he's back, and we're not going to know what he looks like. It's been the theme here since that 69 goal season. So yeah, I guess we'll just wait for a press release to give us any more information about him. But I don't hold my breath anymore.
Yeah, same here. I'm resigned to the fact on this Wednesday, November 12th morning, that we're never going to see the 69 goal loss to Matthews again. I mean, it's quite definitive. It's quite clear. Hasn't looked like the same player. His shot looks a bit better this year, but he looks like disinterested. It's really, really bizarre stuff. But now gets hurt last night, takes the hit from Zadorov, tries to combo that hit and bring it back, and we don't see him again in that game. Tough transition to today's guest. You're seeing the hit right now on your screen, by the way, but at the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So pleased, so happy to bring in a longtime Toronto Maple Leaf, won the Stanley Cup, if you do recall, with the Boston Bruins. It is Thomas Kaberle. Cabby, thank you so much for doing this. How are you, bud?
Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, Kaba.
We're doing well, Cabby. We wish we're in better spirits today. I was wondering, in preparation for this show, how do we get you out of retirement to power play this quarterback? This power play.
Thank you all, man. You know what? You guys touched some stuff on it. I think the boys need a little bit more confidence overall, starting with the goalies. defense and forwards, something's not clicking, and they playing wide open game right now, and it's not gonna work. So, when you're coming from back 2-3 goals, it's nice when you come back, but it's not gonna happen in playoffs, and you wanna get ready for playoffs starting mid-season and on. So, and now before it's too late, right? You need to start playing the right way, and it seems like they just need to go on the road and go out one night and just get drunk. Sometimes it's not up to the coach. It's the players playing the game. They play really well under him last year, and don't worry about the media. Less media is better for the team, and keep the stuff inside the team, and get drunk, and everything's gonna move on and play better hockey.
It does sound like they could use some team bonding in that way, Kaba. Something's got to shake this loose. But it is interesting because, like, you know the market as well as anybody, and people are calling for Berube's head and everything. But like everything they're doing out there that we're watching is the polar opposite of how they were constructed and how they're coached. So, like, how can you blame anyone but those players? And like, what are you seeing with the response to some of the bad games and periods and stuff that just isn't there? And what's your take on it?
Yeah, you're right. It's wide open. I was actually at the game Sunday and I watched the game last night as well. And the amount of breakaways, it's sad. It's like I said, it's wide open. It's almost you need to start from the bottom. Just play simple hockey game. It was almost like a New Jersey style of early 2000s. Just play 1-4 and win a couple of bad, ugly games, and that's the way to get back in their grind. We got so much offensive talent there, but without defense, you're not gonna win much, or you're gonna play 7-7 hockey games, and the goalie's gonna go nuts. Everyone's gonna go nuts. So yeah, like I said, the boys have to talk inside the dressing room, and everything has to stay there, and they got tough opponent on Thursday. LA is a pretty good team, and it's pretty much a must win game for them, and more pressure, and some players don't like more pressure, and plus, like you guys touched up, we got some guys being hurt, and some younger guys or the guys in the minors gonna have to step up. So I don't know what's the situation with Cam, but it would be a good time to call him up because he's a pretty good player. He's Olympian. He's probably gonna be at the Olympics this year, and maybe simple guy like that might help them to start playing the basic hockey and see what happens.
Couldn't hurt at this point, and predictably, everybody's pointing fingers on this Wednesday morning, blaming somebody. Derek Lalonde, the assistant coach, is getting heat the last couple days, but a lot of eyes firmly on Craig Berube. You watched that team the last couple games, as we mentioned. Does it feel like they've lost the room, like the message is not going through now from the coaching staff to the players? Because from our vantage point, it sort of seems that way.
I don't think it's the room, but they just have to play for each other more. I've seen McMahon was stepping up, protecting the players, which is nice to do that. But I could see that doing for more everybody, playing for each other, not just fighting, playing for each other, and make sure I got the next. You're gonna make a mistake, I'll step up and I'll defend that. That's the tough mentality. I don't see that tough mentality in their heads playing that way. It's nice to play offensive game and, like I said, million goals, but you need to step up and play for each other a lot more than what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree. And, you look at the D-core last year, I mean, just they played phenomenal compared to this year. Like, so many guys were stepping up there playing for each other. There were no breakaways. There were no odd man rushes. It was really tight. And it's the complete opposite. Not one single one of the guys on the back end is playing up to, I think, expectations. What are you seeing when you watch the guys on the back end here this year?
Yeah, you're right. It seems like, when
snap.
Well, Kaber, we lost you. If you just want to
we got your
pick up from
I'm
there.
back. Sorry. Yeah, when you look back in the playoff situations, a lot of these teams who does well in playoffs, the defense step up and they get points from the D as well, and offensively and defensively. And right now it feels like we just need to get it out of the zone, and that's our job. Your job is follow up, get more offensive minded. It doesn't mean you're gonna open up the defense, but you need to play like a unit, 5-man unit. And that's I've seen there's no, like I said mentioned before, there's no trust between the goalie defense and between the defense and forwards to get it done right now.
Yeah, it's a good point. Trust is a big word I would use right now. We're not seeing the camaraderie, the chemistry with this roster that we've seen in years past. But I did want to bring up a positive note because there's so much negativity. Morgan Riley's had a long career as a member of the Maple Leafs. Last night, he passes you for 6th all-time in assists and 2nd among D in Leafs history. What was your reaction to seeing that?
Oh, it's great. I'm happy for him. Obviously he's been playing long enough to get that done, playing with great teammates. Looking back, I played with 200 probably different teammates throughout the 12 years. So probably he's going to look back. It's something to look back one day and these accomplishments when you're done playing hockey. But, I text him a couple of days later. It's amazing and keep it up. And I text him next is the Stanley Cup. I know it's easy to say, but, every hockey player wants to win the Stanley Cup, and it's the hardest thing to win. Those 2 months hard work. Every team wants to do it, right? So, but now they got a little bit different issues to get in the playoffs. But he's a great guy on and off the ice, and really happy for him. Yeah,
Yeah, it is pretty nice, Cab. I just wanted to ask, from your perspective, what's your prediction? Do these guys figure this out and become a hockey team that you could believe in for the playoffs, or is this a huge problem? What's your prediction here?
Oh, listen, it's guys have to, like I said, guys have to talk. They have to play a lot simpler hockey game. I know these days the hockey game is really fast. Things happen quickly, but at the same time, you can lose the spot in playoffs really quick too. And I'm sure the ownership, the GM knows what to do, and I'm sure if not, they're gonna come down and talk to them as well. And it's not just the players, it's the management, coaches, GM, and say, listen, we all got the job here, and it hasn't been done so far this season, and something might happen if you're not going to start playing, and that's the hockey business. If you're not playing well, most of the time coach going first, but players go too, and they need to figure out, and I'm sure the feelings right now, I'm sure they don't even want to go walk on the streets. That's just they just want to win a hockey game and go from there, one game at a time, and build up. So I've been there. It's not a good feeling, but just simplify the game. That's what I would say, and start from the defense, simplify, and good things will happen.
Cabby, it still gives me nightmares every time I see Zdeno Chara, especially as a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. We see him last night at TD Garden. We saw him a couple nights ago, gets into the Hockey Hall of Fame. What was it like to play with Big Z? And most importantly, what do you remember about that cup run in 2011?
Z is a special guy. He doesn't say much. He's a quiet guy. He's the quiet leader. He's the guy you look in the room and you know what he's thinking, in a good way and bad way. So that's why the team was so good, playing on Big Z and Bergeron. Those guys are not loud guys, but they show it on the ice. They don't need to say much. You don't play well, he's looking at you like you better wake up before it's too late. And the whole team was playing like that, and it's just great memories looking back. Everybody was playing, like I mentioned before. You need to play for each other, every single guy. Doesn't matter if you're four line or first line. Actually, our third and four liners probably made the difference in the cup. They were playing really well, and goalie was playing as well too. But it's a team game. It's not about one or two guys. That's why it's a special game and the best game in the world.
Yeah, that's so well put. And team is such a perfect illustration to describe the game of hockey. And watching this Leafs team right now, not really playing like a team. Last but not least, I thought it was really cool as a Leaf fan in the Pat Quinn era, and of course you were part of that era, to see Alexander Mogilny accept his entrance into the Hockey Hall of Fame. What was it like to play with Almo?
It's a very quiet guy. He just shows up to work and does his job. I think it's one of the most skilled guys I played with, if not one of the top three. Like one day he shows up and he has the graph skates, and he shows up, and there's a brand new Bauer skates on the floor. He said, "Oh, maybe I'll try these." It's a game day, so he puts the Bauer skates on, and they're totally different stick, totally different curve. And okay, it's okay, it's gonna work. You have 2 assists, maybe a goal. It doesn't matter what he put on that skill. It was unbelievable. It was. I'm glad I played with him. Old school guy. You don't see much workout. He'll have a coffee, and he'll put on the jersey, and he'll show you how it's done. Knows the hockey's played, and like I said, a great guy on the ice and off the ice as well.
So are you. What a stat class 2025 was. Really appreciate your time under these circumstances here, man. Just the Leafs are in a rough way, but thanks so much for doing this today. We'll talk soon, okay, Cabby?
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Kaba.
You as well.
Thanks.
Thomas Kaberle, longtime Toronto Maple Leaf, and absolute legend in these parts, man. But nobody, I like what he said there. You talk about team and trust. Trust is a big word. They're not playing. They trust each other at all.
They're just not playing at all. It's just,
true.
Like Kaba says, Kaba's been around the block, obviously, and he says all the things that coaches say when you're trying to dig out of a hole. Like you gotta get in that room. It's gotta come from within. You gotta simplify the game, and good things will happen. And I don't know what their MO is. It's just so funny. I'm still racking my brain going, how could they still come out with that shit after, the previous week? And I don't know what the answer is. Like, how could how could you not see 3, 4, 5, 6 guys? Excuse me. Oh, big sneeze. I'm getting sick.
Attaboy.
How could you not see a whole handful at least of guys that are just like enough and are just willing themselves to better hockey out there with just pure effort and attention and just give a shit meter through the roof? Not one. And it's shocking because I know how shitty it is around there. I know what it's like to walk into that practice rink this morning, and it's just oh God, the video meeting on the board at this time. The media's out there just can't wait to get in there, and they just can't wait to get in here and just ask, how awful is it? What are you gonna do? What's the feeling like after? It's awful. It sucks being at work. Everyone's grumpy and miserable. You don't even want to see the coach. Practice is way harder, and they're kind of bagging you, and he blows it down at the drop of a hat to say, what the fuck, pull your head of your asses and stuff. It's shit. And when you're winning, it is just what's up, boys? What's for breakfast? And guys are laughing, and the coach is in the room having a coffee, telling a story. It's completely different. And I just can't believe that the effort that we're seeing is them trying to climb out of those two different worlds. It blows my mind, man. And I guess I'll just keep waiting to see if these guys have any fucking character in that room.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement. We're shell shocked. Even 12, 13, 14 hours, whatever it is after that game, it's can't believe they did that again. And can't believe in Boston. Can't believe it's Pasternak. Every time Pasternak just kills them. And it's just the same old story. It's been that story for 10 years now. Even Zadorov, the lack of response. You're so right earlier on. It took them a period and a half to respond, and they all say the same thing. I didn't see the hit. So what are you doing on those tablets on the bench then? What are they watching? Their previous shift at all? I don't buy that shit for a second. I think probably something was said in the room where it's Matthews is not coming back. He took a hit from Zadorov. Is anybody going to do anything? And to your point earlier on, the timing was just tough on Max Domi. I love when his wires cross, and I love that the Ty Domi moments that he has in him, but you can't take that type of penalty, Rosie, with 10 minutes left. You have all the momentum. The Leafs are picking up steam in that game. Boston comes back, they score, and that's the game,
Yeah, do that the next shift, Domes.
Yeah.
Don't do it when you've just scored 2 to make this a game, and all of a sudden their arses are puckering up, and you might be able to pot another one and force overtime and absolutely steal one on the road against your rivals. Do that right after when it's 4-1 and it's the beginning of the second period. Like, that's just kind of 101. Like, we can kill that one off, and who cares if we don't? Like, this game's in shambles. Not when things get turned. Like, that's when you decided to go after him. What were you doing? Maybe he didn't line up against him, but just tell Chief, I'm going when you see him out there, and just go straight to him and take, like, who gives a shit? Like, you pretty much did. But yeah, again, and it's brutal to see something like that, which I love and call for all the time, and then to have the caveat of, but it was the worst possible time he could have done it. It's just a calamity of errors with this group. And I just kept, the whole time I've just been like, boys, keep it, like, this is early season. They're going to figure this out. There's some bumps in the road. There's some hiccups. They're still figuring some shit out. They have some injuries. Now I'm just like, well, you're going backwards. You're getting worse, which is like, how are you getting worse? But they are. And I don't know. I hope they shove it up everyone's ass and have a great performance against LA. But why on earth would you bet that that's going to happen after what you've seen?
I was laughing at the remedy that Thomas Kaberle brought to the table. This team needs to get drunk, but what's the comparison in 2025? Because I don't know if these guys are big time drinkers anymore.
You need to get in one hotel room, and you need to get a bunch of Xbox controllers, and you need to have a gaming party and order some pizza.
Yeah, guys, Diet Coke too.
Well, you can't go out though. I mean, we used to go out and just the whole team would fill a
Just
bar
pin
and
it.
we'd just rip. And it was unreal. In the morning, you're looking at your buddy going, holy fuck, what a night. And you know, whether you agree with that or not, you built some pretty serious bonds doing that stuff and had some pretty serious memories. And I mean, that's why they do team building stuff, like, going out together and having a bunch of beers is as team bonding as it gets. And yeah, I don't know if guys do that anymore. I don't think you can really, right? It would be all over Twitter, a bunch of beers, and
They
you're
play
like,
every day too.
Yeah, it's just whatever. But yeah, I mean, something needs to happen in that room where they come together and they look like they're fractured and they're totally spread apart and they're all on a different page, which is kind of hard to understand, because it's like, you guys are showing up every day putting that jersey on, and it's only you guys that can get out of this thing. So how do you not know that is the answer, to come together and bear the fuck down and fix this thing? I don't see that sentiment with anything about them, their actions, their body language, their facial expressions, their energy level. It's just the same shit I've been saying for a while. It's just not there. And it's kind of hard to believe you can't see them trying to find it.
Yeah, they look broken. They look fragile. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Some more super chats to get to. Shane Brom, thank you so much for your submission. If they're bad, be bottom 5 in the league bad. That's a good point, Shane. Again, because Boston has the pick. It's top 5 protected from the Minton deal involving Carlo as well. John Gallagher writes in, let's call a spade a spade. Matthews couldn't get past an aging Bergeron, got outplayed by Pierre-Luc Dubois in the bubble, couldn't dominate Montreal, had no number one center. There's a trend here. But yeah, I mean, it just hasn't been good enough. He hasn't been dominant. I made the point in the group chat last night watching the first period. I'm like, what's next? A Matthews injury? And dude, like 10 minutes later, he goes down. And that's like the sidebar story, because so much is happening, from Stolarz to this team getting destroyed in 3 straight games, to people calling for Ruby's head, calling for trades. Cabby's calling for David Kampf back in the lineup. Like there's a lot happening with this team right now. But without Auston Matthews, I don't know where you're going at all. Like you're not winning shit, I think. So that's a big one for me, is like, what the hell is going on with Auston Matthews?
I know it's very Leafy again to have a superstar. And like people say online, it's like, can't think of another team where I have to check to see if the superstar is playing. Sometimes he just completely blends in and he's kind of just watching, and then he will get his 3 little opportunities, and one misses the net, one he kind of double clutches and his shot's not really there, and the other one he just kind of can't win the stick battle, and it just kind of gets blocked up and bunged up, and it just turns into nothing. Like, that's kind of it. Sometimes you're like, holy fuck, where's that 69 goal score? And is he hurt? Is he forever going to be hurt? Is his wrist or his back or is something fucked? We're never going to get told about it. but
No.
it is leafy that this superstar is kind of like that comment that was just said. Like he was a no-show against this team. He got dominated by that team. You just rattle off the list of playoff series blunders where he wasn't a superstar. And now he's can't really do as much in the regular season either. Like yikes, right? And yeah, it's not just Auston. It's a calamity of errors, like I said, and there's no redeeming quality about this team right now. But again, like I said earlier, there's teams that have played worse than this before and climbed out of it, become a good team. So like, again, there's no reason that I think this team should be this bad. This team should be way better than this. Just should be. I understand they're not, but things can change in a hurry too. I hope this is a footnote on the season, but it's the first time I've opened my mind to the possibility that, holy, this might be a really long season with just a big shitstorm at the end of it, man. Like the first time I've opened my mind up to that possibility.
Yeah, I said that on After Dark last night. I think for the first time this season, I'm actually concerned about the direction of this team. I really haven't felt that way through 16 games, and I watched like a lack of response against Boston out of all teams, who has had your number for 15 years, and that's the way you come out. Like even the fact that they're clearing the bench for 400 career goals now. Like, are we serious with that? I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm like, just for good measure, just to piss off Leafs Nation even more. Pasternak scores, the bench clears, and then you got the visual of Hildeby just standing there with the entire team erupting beside him. It's like, can't catch a break, man. Cannot catch a break against the Boston Bruins. 17 playoff losses. Now it's Pasternak pulling that shit.
Yeah, very leafy, man. And, who knows what's going on with Auston? Who knows what's going on with Stolarz? Like, are we down Stolarz and Wool right now?
No, as I said, and sorry to interrupt, I don't believe Stolarz is very injured. If you catch my drift,
I hear you.
The way
I hear you.
Go back to
okay.
the scrum and see how. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So he's not hurt. So he's yanking himself. He's yanking himself in a terrible game. Okay, well, not much better. But like our goaltending is miles away from what it was last year for multiple reasons. Guys like from McCabe to Benoit, Tanev's not even playing. Our decor is in shambles. Myers shouldn't even be on the team. Forwards, we brought in these new guys that, don't do shit so far, really don't. And you're looking for a response out of this guy, that guy on the bottom six. No, nothing. Up front, Matthews, sometimes he looks a little better, then he looks like hurt, and now he's left hurt. Nylander has been pretty damn good this year, but we know he can just go shut it off and just completely glide and watch and stuff, which is kind of what it feels like at times. Power play is still garbage. They don't kill a big pen. Like, what the fuck, man? With all the injuries, Lawton has been trying to get in and impose his strengths on this team and show the market what he can do, and just cannot catch a break. First game back, second game back, gets blown up by Zadorov, where, good for Bobby McMahon for coming. It's just, there's just nothing that's even close, man. And I don't know what to say or why, but I disagree with the people that think, it's demoralizing. I think about, how the hell am I gonna do this show? Like, I don't want to get too into it, because like, why get pissed off and ruin your day? Like, how many days are going to be ruined until they show you something better? I'm just not going to give a shit here for a while until they show me something better, and then I can start to like dissect what's going on.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's warranted criticism. For those of you who haven't caught After Dark from last night with Zach Phillips, go and watch it, man. He did 2 hours and 6 minutes of a post-game show, and I wonder how many lozenges Zach's having today, because he had a couple rants. So go check that out. I stopped by for about 15, 20 minutes. But I always, and again, I love deferring to guys who have played in the league and, obviously know a lot of people now, having done this for, the better part of 15 years. It's one game. It's 3 games. Regardless if you lose 9-1 like the Oilers did over the weekend, or lose 5-4, it's one loss. I think the good news is that there's still 65 games left. And you know me, I'm not very positive. I'm not positive, Pete. there is runway to fix this shit. Like last time I looked, they're 8-8-1. The Florida Panthers, who have won back-to-back Stanley Cups, are 8-7-1, regardless of who they're missing. I understand that. But I think when you put that perspective spin on it, it's not as bad as it seems right now. That's all I'm saying. Having said that, I think this team's in a rough way. They're lost. They're fragile. They're broken. They're cooked. Whatever adjective you want to add to that conversation. But I think it's important, half empty, half full here.
Yeah, well, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah.
The whole time this year when they've been having hiccups, it's been like, it's early.
Yeah.
And it is still early. It's not even the 20-game mark. It's not American Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas. There is runway to fix this. And this could be a footnote because, again, there's no reason for them to be this bad. Everyone thinks they know and knew the whole time and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. They're better than this. They are. So I'll give them the chance to climb out of it. But again, like I said, this is that performance and the lack of response over and over again. Like, why I don't even get my hopes up anymore. Like, usually I'm like, this is they will be ready. This will be that you watch, and I bet them heavy and say take that this and that, and you think they're gonna, and then they just don't. I'm at the point where I don't get my hopes up anymore this year. Like, you bet, like you got to get me back on board, right? Because what I've seen is just like, oh baby, are they miles away? They're miles and miles away. That being said, shit changes fast in the league, and get things back on track. I'll be right there, but they have not shown anything near what they need to be to get a following behind them. And until they do, I'm just going to kind of be indifferent about it. And if it keeps going this way, I mean, some big conversations are going to be happening that I did not think we'd be having this year.
Yeah, I thought we'd be talking about a Stanley Cup, not Gavin McKenna. But as we've seen on a nightly basis when the Leafs play, Zach Phillips has the Gavin McKenna simulator going. And thank you to producer Vic, by the way, for initiating the AHL tracker. The Marlies are actually playing right now. So we could see Joseph Woll touchdown in Toronto as early as maybe this afternoon. Sheldon Dries is fourth of the campaign from Austin Watson at 8:34. The first period has Grand Rapids up 1-0 after one on Joseph Woll and the Toronto Marlies. So 7 saves on 8 shots for Woolsey after one here.
7 saves on 8 shots on Woll.
Oh, yeah,
tune into
after
that.
one. They
Interesting.
played 20
good to
minutes.
see him playing, man. Good to see him playing. I don't know if he's going to come in and be the savior, but we know his good is pretty good, and I hope he finds it and gets back with the Leafs and can help make a difference, because having a guy between the pipes that can turn aside some big chances can do a lot for a team's morale and getting their feet under them. And yeah, they could use anything they can get right now.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Couple more minutes here on the Wednesday edition. A bunch of people asking about Easton Cowan. He's played 2 games in the American Hockey League, has 1 assist. Is he the answer to everybody's prayers now, is to figure this thing out with this Leafs team?
It's not like he's the answer. No, it's not like he's going to go take the team by the reins. He's like 20 years old. But and another part of me is like, I don't want him around this negativity. Like, that is energy, blood sucking stuff when that team is playing like that. So I'd keep him there, but I would have no problem with pulling him up, sporadically, periodically, getting him some reps and back down and just kind of like filling that cup of experience. But as far as pulling him up and saying you need to pull this team out of here and be part of this shit storm that team and that dressing room would be right now, I'm not really interested in him being a part of it right now.
I concur. Anything else you want to discuss? Did you have any issue with the Zadorov hit on Matthews? I know that's been all over social media. Did you hate it? Indifferent?
I don't think it's a good hit. I mean, he's showing you his numbers the entire time. I know he didn't just lean down and bury him like he said. He just kind of ran into him with his chest. But you're 6'7" and you just crippled one of our other centermans the night before, probably conkied him. He's out. Then you're going to run the superstar from behind when you see his numbers the whole time and he's injured and leaves the game. Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it, like, after all the ticky-tack horse shit you see get called in this freaking league, reaching over and touching a guy's stick, arm goes up, you Zadorov of all guys, like kind of piles Auston Matthews up neck first from the numbers, and you don't put your like, fuck you. It's I don't know. I'm not the reps are the last thing on my mind, to be honest with you.
You want to hear a hot take? I think Matthew Olivier is one of the top valuable players in this league because he can fight, maybe the best tough guy in the league. He can actually play hockey. Like, how would the Leafs look with a Matthew Olivier on their roster? Columbus is not giving the guy up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that guy's so tough and he can actually play hockey.
Well, it's so funny because like we're talking about getting embarrassed and run through the barn and having no response, and then people are there. Well, they have no one to respond to as Zadorov, but like we had Ryan Reeves for several years and didn't really need him and didn't serve a purpose. Like it's just like, of course, you get rid of him, and then there's a time where Revo should put Zadorov in the second deck, and if not, shed his shit and just feed him. But nobody's there to do it except for little Max Domi. Like it's just
Bobby McMahon's a new muscle on this team.
Yeah, I mean, there's not very many guys that have any balls at all that can, there's so many guys that just don't bother because I want to be a skill guy. But then you talk about Olivier, like how about his snipe against us? Just loads one up and goes pating bar down. Can shoot the puck. He can play hockey too, and those are so hard to find, man.
Yeah, even like I know some people in the chat are bringing up the name Michael Pezzetta. From what we saw in camp, like he's an AHL player. We talked about that throughout the offseason. He was jacked to be a Maple Leaf, grew up a Leaf fan. He's played 6 games with the Marlies, 7 penalty minutes, no points. I don't know if Michael Pezzetta is the long-term answer, but I would love to know, what would you do? Like as the coach or as the GM that is realistic? Like, is it health bombing somebody? Is it sending some guys down to the AHL? Is it putting a Myers on waivers? Like, I guess nothing gets through this team, so maybe it doesn't matter. But is there anything you would do to maybe push the envelope a bit here?
Oh, it's hard to say, man, just because the problems are so deep. Like you said, if it was just a couple of guys on this position or that, you could send that message. But like, who do you even pick? To me, I would challenge the team, and I'm sure he's already done this. I would challenge the team to say, just show the world that you're a fucking man. Just show the world that you have character in this room and that you're willing to go outside of your comfort zone to do something, to rectify something that you don't think should be happening. Like, prove it to yourself, prove it to others, find a way to have some balls and show me something. Like, go out there and just say, enough is enough, and just let me just prove to me you guys are men in here, and just see if you can put it on them to finally snap out of it and go, holy shit, like what did he just say to me? You want to see something, and see if they can just snap it loose, because I think they should have done that long ago, and they just don't. They just come up with these dog shit performances again when you think they're going to respond. And then this insane thing is, like the other, like sometimes they'll come back and make it close and kind of like have this little moral victory or some bullshit. And it's like, well, you have it in you there. You did it there. Like, are you seriously telling me you weren't willing to do that at puck drop tonight after everything we've been talking about for the last 3 losses or whatever? It's just mind numbing that they're not willing to do that from the get-go to rectify these problems. I don't get it. It's just like a dumb team. Like, it's just like, do you not get it? Like, what are you missing here? What part of this don't you get?
It's fair. And producer Vic is on the pulse of the American Hockey League, says Easton Cowan not in the lineup this morning. So maybe tipping their hand as to what can transpire now. I just don't know if Cowan's the answer, and I agree with your point. Keep him out of this shit show. The kid's already fragile, man. He's been in the market 7 minutes, and I just don't want him around this team right now. They're just playing so bad. Unrelated note, the Tampa Bay Lightning have recalled Boris Kachuk and Scott Sabrin. Any guesses who they're playing later on this week?
Florida?
Yeah.
Sabrin.
Cool. Yeah, man. That is some old school hockey. But, final note, just watching that Anaheim-Colorado game, it proved to me that the Leafs are far, far behind some of these teams right now in the NHL. We'll leave it at that. The only thing I'll add to finish off this conversation, hopefully it's been a therapy session for all you guys out there at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. There have been so many examples, even in 4 years together doing this show, where I think both of us, Leafs Nation, everybody's been out on this team and they suck us back in. So all I'm saying, do not be shocked if they suck us back in. All right. Any final words, Rosie?
No, again, this thing does Leafy things, this outfit, and don't be surprised if against LA, against all odds, they just put together this inspiring 60-minute effort with performances from top to bottom. I hope it does happen, man. Suck me back in. I'm all for it.
It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. Looking at the card, lighter card in the NHL on this Wednesday, Rangers Tampa. I'd probably look at the under in that game. Edmonton, Philadelphia. I think pretty standard Oilers victory coming in that one, although they're not playing well. Maybe you look at the over in that game. And Buffalo, Utah has my intrigue because of the revenge look. I hit the Joel Armia anytime goal last night. The Kings on the road in Montreal, his first game back at plus 650. I'm going to look at Josh Doan tonight. Former Utah Mammoth, Arizona Coyote, now with Buffalo making his return to Utah. So I'm going to look at that Buffalo-Utah game, maybe look at the over. Maybe look at Josh Doan or JJ Peterka to do something tonight.
You're digging deep on these.
Oh yeah,
good on you. There's not much out there. I'm going to take the Oilers at minus 1.5. Yeah. It's plus 180. When McDavid hits his stride and decides that he doesn't like what he sees, he single-handedly wins games like it's a freaking basketball game. So I don't think them minus 1.5 at that kind of plus money. I'm such a sucker for plus money. I don't think that's out of the realm. So that is my bet today, even though I don't see a lot on there. But I'm glad you're finding stuff out there. It's a little bit of a light slate.
I felt really good about yesterday to an extent. I was smashing the Leafs. I'm like, we're going to see a response. We got it.
Yeah.
That game in Philadelphia. Remember, I'm like, I was all over it. I'm like, the Leafs are winning that game. And I don't know, like halfway through the show yesterday, I started to feel a certain way. I'm like, maybe this is not going to be the night. And then we saw what unfolded. And then I had the over in Anaheim, Colorado, and the underplayed in that game. Colorado flexed its muscles a bit. But Rosie, that's going to be a wrap for today's show. Great stuff. Tough times in Leafs Nation. We look forward to the Thursday edition of Leafs Morning Take. We'll preview Leafs Kings. We'll talk about some of the injuries, what's going on with Matthews. Maybe we have further development on that front. Stoli as well. Is Wool in the mix? Is Easton Cowan in the mix? And former NHLer now doing Energy Line with Nate and JSB and also the NHL Network. Nate Thompson is going to stop by tomorrow, so we're going to get his perspective. I've been talking to him a lot the last couple of weeks about the Maple Leafs and what he sees from that team. Of course, played for Tampa as well. So Nate Thompson's coming up tomorrow.
Sweet. Looking forward to that. Yeah. Just on what you said earlier, too many times we've expected a response, and now my expectations are zero. I have no idea. I'm not even going to bet on the Leafs. Maybe I'll just bet the over again because you'd be crazy not to. 14 out of 15 or whatever it is. But
15 of 17, man.
That's unreal. Even my buddy who's a gambling monster is just like, I can't believe how much money I'm making on the Leafs over. I'm like, doesn't seem to be going anywhere soon. But they have. I have almost guaranteed that they will have a response maybe 3 or 4 times this year, and not once have they. So they've done it to me. I have lost that much of the faith to, vocally express what I feel I know they're going to do any given night, because it's just no, I clearly have no idea what this group's going to do.
We're zapped. It's up to this team to prove us, I guess, what, right or wrong? Wrong. Let's go with that one.
Prove us wrong. Prove us right at sometimes, prove us wrong at others. It's just like a mudslide that's just slowly going downhill. We're not going in the right direction. So prove us. Yeah. Bring us back. How about that?
It's sickening stuff. Anyways, let's reconvene tomorrow. Thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys are great. Thank you for the abundance of super chats as well at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Again, thank you to Thomas Kaberle for stopping by. Thank you to producer Vic. All the guy wanted for his 35th birthday was a Leafs win, and he got a piece of shit. That's what he got. He got a steaming hot pile of manure. So happy belated to producer Vic. For Jay Rosehill, I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.